2 weeks ago, we discussed Suicide Squad and how much we are sick of the looter-shooter, always-online games as a live service model. Then a game like HellDivers 2 came along and throws so much liberty in your face, we can't help but feel the pride in the democratic system the Super Earth grants us to dispel all tyranny and enjoy the freedom to have these opinions about gaming. I'm Pynn, this is Critical Hit, and today we're reviewing HellDivers 2. I wanted to start this off with a bit of over-the-top Starship Trooper-esque humor, similar to what you will get to enjoy along the way, hidden in not-so-subtle subcontext throughout your many playthroughs. Like any live service game, the story's not going to keep you returning. It's the gameplay loop and mechanics. But in this case, the story added to it in all the right ways to keep me entertained between the shooting, eviscerating, carpet bombing, and the many, many deaths I experienced. And similar to the story, which is rooted in a much deeper and thoughtful premise, the combat, while on the surface seems like it might be a simple kill the bug or kill the machine if you see it, has a lot more mechanics and depth to the system when you actually start progressing into the game. Simple things like friendly fire make employing the tools you're given like stratagems to either napalm or mini nuke an area really make your playthroughs go from slightly overwhelming to all-out chaos. Stratagems need directional commands inputted to call in the many air-assisted or resupply drops, but taking the time to input these during moments when they are really needed ends up adding quite a bit to the challenge. This is also one of the only games I've ever played that discourages you from reloading after every shot. If you reload a magazine, you're throwing away the remainder of the clip in favor of a new one. And as fun and hectic as the game can be, it can also be devastatingly brutal and challenging, especially when you get to those higher difficulty levels. Alright, so what is HellDivers 2 though? HellDivers 2 is set 100 years after the first game in a much more peaceful Super Earth era after defeating the Tyranids and Illuminates. Humanity has now colonized the galaxy, and with them traveling between planets, they need a lot of fuel. And that fuel comes in the form of E-170. That fuel source, of course, comes from the evil Tyranids. So our heroes, namely you as a Helldiver, deliver freedom, liberty, and democracy to the Tyranids, and after years of being farmed, they break free and become a threat to Super Earth once again. We also have the automatons, which have advanced weaponry and made me feel somewhat reminiscent about being at war with Terminators. I would say they are overall more challenging, but both species you fight have their own unique style that make the fight feel different and the weapons you use either more or less effective. The main goal is to conquer, liberate, the planets controlled by the automatons and Terminads. And you do so by either playing solo or in a group of up to 4 and complete time missions that add towards all the game players as a whole, liberating said planets. These make up sectors, and you get bonuses for all those who play the game when a sector is liberated entirely. None of the missions feel boring or stale, and the maps on the planets are procedurally generated, which absolutely helps the gameplay loop from feeling dull. Speaking of the maps, they all come with different effects, from jungle planets with thick fog or ice-cold barren planets that can hinder your stratagems or evacuation times. You get a primary mission that you can usually complete fairly quickly, or you can explore the map for side objectives, which net you a ton of bonus experience and resources when you complete the mission. And one added bonus to this is the enemies continually grow in numbers and get a little stronger the longer you stay in a mission. So if you're looking for a challenge, you can find it there. One of the better aspects of HellDivers 2 was how the weapons feel, with each feeling useful in its own way. The first assault rifle you start with feels really good, and while it does start to feel less impactful on higher difficulties, it still maintains its usefulness. There are some guns that you get that will be better for certain situations. Alright, except maybe the railgun. That's just straight up better. But really, selecting your loadout, either guns, turrets, airstrikes, ends up being a lot more subjective based on your playstyle. But it was not nearly as fun as when we had a full team or even a friend or two to play with. There are also a few hidden spots on occasion that take at least 2 people to open. I never saw one playing solo, but if I had, I would have been frustrated. We had a team of 4, and we all had different specialties. One in turrets, one in airstrikes, one in orbital strikes, and one with support packs and weapons, and it was surprisingly effective. And that isn't to say you can't play solo, you can, and I did. And even though I really enjoyed my time playing, and I'm probably going to go back to it, there are some issues. First, let's talk about the melee combat. It's terrible, but it does make sense for the game. Still, I wanted to mention it and not leave it out. You won't be using it, and that's okay. There are some glitches on occasion, graphical errors, making frames of bugs stretch out, or even getting them stuck on larger parts of terrain. I saw this quite a bit, but it never ruined any playthrough for me. The multiplayer matchmaking can be hit or miss. I understand this game is a lot larger than PlayStation or Arrowhead Game Studios were expecting, but joining a game is a lot more miss than hit at the moment. I found if you just keep spamming auto join, it's the most effective means, but even that can take a few minutes. And with what I had previously said about it being so much better in co-op, I mean the game was meant for co-op, they should really have this figured out. Another big point I do not like about this game is it costs money to play. It's about half price of standard game price these days, but they have a premium system called Super Credits. It is more of a pay for convenience than a pay to win, and even then, nothing in the premium pack seems objectively better than the free to earn items. But it's something to be aware of. You can also earn the Super Credits, and it is fairly generous. So like I said, kind of more of a pay for convenience on different, not necessarily better equipment. This could get worse as time goes on and more premium packs are added, which Arrowhead Studios has said they will do, but the CEO has said, quote, "You have to earn the right to monetize games," unquote. And their thinking about the process does seem to be a more customer friendly approach than you see most companies take. Once you buy a premium pack, it won't disappear from the shop like a typical monthly premium pack does in other games. For now at least, it doesn't ruin the game for me. I understand they need money to keep the servers running, but again, this wasn't a free game. So if it does become a pay to win on a paid game, I take pretty serious issue with that business model. Still, the world looks great, the battles feel great, and the game's fun as hell. I did not think I would be recommending a live service game so soon after the last game I reviewed, but if you have the free time, this one's worth checking out. That's all I got on HellDivers 2. Thanks for sticking with me till the end, and let me know if you're enjoying the game down below. If you like what you heard, leaving a like and subscribing on the video goes a long way to helping us continue what we do. I'm Pynn, you're awesome. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.